Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Colonel Dawson A. Brumbelow, Commander 521st Air Operations Group, welcome to today's ceremony. This morning, Lieutenant Colonel Michael A. Slaughter will pass command of the 725th Air Mobility Squadron to Lieutenant Colonel Brian P. Shea. As a reminder, today's ceremony is considered a no-hat, no-salute event. Therefore, the wearing of headgear is not required, nor rendering of salutes during the Spanish and American national anthems. Additionally, verbal cues will be given when it is appropriate to stand and sit. We are honored to have some special guests with us today. Please hold your applause until all are announced. Holly Brumbelow, wife of Colonel Brumbelow. Brittany Slaughter, wife of Lieutenant Colonel Slaughter, their children, daughter Grayson and son Garrett. Tiffany Shea, wife of Lieutenant Colonel Shea, their children, son Eli and daughter Mia, and his parents John and Diane Shea. Captain Teague Suarez, Commanding Officer, Naval Station Rota. Captain Rafael Prieto Garcia, Chief of Base General Services, Naval Station Rota. Commander Adolfo Martin Puello, Spanish Air Service, Naval Station Rota. We also welcome all senior officers, commanders, directors, chiefs, first sergeants, family, friends, and the men and women of the 725th Air Mobility Squadron. Thank you for attending. History reveals that in the Middle Ages, soldiers in the field would often not know or recognize their commanders. In response to this problem, the Continental Army of the United States conducted the first official change of command ceremony. Just as it has in the past, the formal change of command allows troops to witness the actual transfer of command between two officers and see their new commander firsthand. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party. Please remain standing for the playing of the Spanish and American national anthems and the invocation.
Go. Up.
Chaplain Mark Bristol will now give the invocation.
Ladies and gentlemen, please bow your heads as we gather here today to mark a significant moment in the history of this Air Mobility Squadron. Oremos. Gracious and loving Divine, we come before you on this solemn occasion as we witness the passing of leadership from one capable hand to another. We acknowledge your presence among us, and we humbly ask for your guidance and grace. We thank you for the steadfast commitment and dedication of Lieutenant Colonel Michael A. Slaughter. Under his guidance, the 725th Air Mobility Squadron has flourished. His leadership has inspired and uplifted all who serve within his ranks. As you bid farewell to Lieutenant Colonel Slaughter, we pray that you bless him abundantly in his future endeavors. May he find continued success and fulfillment and joy in every path he chooses to tread. Now, as we look to Lieutenant Colonel Brian Shea, who stands ready to assume command with humility and purpose, grant him the strength and wisdom to lead the squadron with integrity, compassion, and a vision that embraces excellence. May his journey be marked with resilience as he faces the challenges head-on with determination and perseverance. Bless him with discernment and clear judgment, that he may make sound decisions for the greater good of all. Surround him with a dedicated team. Unite them in a spirit of camaraderie and cooperation. Empower them to work together, sharing their unique talents to overcome obstacles and achieve unparalleled success. Bless the families of Lieutenant Colonel Slaughter and Lieutenant Colonel Shea, their support system and refuge in life's challenges. Grant them strength, unity, and resilience amidst the demands of military life. May their love deepen and their bonds grow stronger, finding solace in each other's embrace. Surround them with your loving protection, and may they find comfort in your divine presence in this time of transition. Sustain them, knowing that they are not alone. We also pray for members of this Air Mobility Squadron. Guide and protect them as they carry out their noble duties, supporting one another as a tightly knit family, bound by a common purpose and unwavering commitment. May their efforts bring comfort to those in need, hope to the downtrodden, assurance to the anxious. Bless their every endeavor, both near and far, as they serve our nation and all who depend on them. We ask this all in your holy and sacred name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Bristol. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. It is my pleasure to introduce our presiding officer for today's ceremony, Colonel Dawson A. Bremelo.
Hopefully none of this will blow away. Well, good morning. Well, it's a great day to be an AMC Airman as we celebrate the many accomplishments of the 725th Air Mobility Squadron under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Mike Slaughter, and to welcome his relief, Lieutenant Colonel Brian Shea. But I must say, first, as guests and tenants here, it's never easy, right, to be a tenant. But it could be a heck of a lot harder without the great friendship and teamwork that we enjoy here in beautiful southern Spain. So it's important to recognize that none of this could be possible without that outstanding friendship with our Spanish allies and our joint mission partners. Captain Suarez, thank you for being here with us today. Captain Prieto, Commander Martin, thank you all for your incredible support to the squadron and our mission. It warms my heart to see you all here today. Also, thanks to Chief Mari for being here. I know you didn't have a choice in that matter. I know I'm going to pay for it because I know you're taking good notes and you're going to criticize or give me an effective critique. So thank you. I'd also like to extend a special welcome to Team Slaughter, Brittany, Grayson, and Garrett, and to Team Shea, Tiffany, Eli, Mia, John, and Diane. Thank y'all for being here. Chaps, I couldn't have said it better. I'm gonna steal that. That's gonna be my speech from now on. You hit every nail on the head. Perfect, perfect. And I appreciate you putting in a good word for the weather. We almost had thunderstorms today. A little too much on the wind though, so next time. I'll tell you what, we can use all the help we can get. I would also like to extend a special thanks to Tech Sergeant Krabler and the AMOG and the AMS team that put this all together. Their hard work and attention to detail makes this day even more special. Job well done. Although I think we won the bet on the over and under on how many chairs we needed. Well, it's a momentous occasion for these two leaders and a chance to celebrate the accomplishments of this amazing team. Commanding a squadron is by far one of the greatest honors in an Air Force career. To lead airmen executing a vital mission, every drop of sweat and busted knuckle and every ounce of energy spent in worthy cause, the buck stops with you. The commander provides the vision, the priorities, and entirely works to set conditions for the airmen's success. Of the two individuals here with me today, if one looks a little bit more relaxed, that's probably because he's looking back on an incredible command tour with all these challenges about to be in his rearview mirror. Almost. The other is facing the uncertainty shared by all incoming commanders. What challenges will tomorrow bring? When my squadron is tested, will I be truly ready? Will my team be ready? Well, only time will tell, but success doesn't happen by accident, and I'm confident this team will be up to the challenge. I am truly blessed to have the privilege of working alongside incredible airmen performing these critical missions and along outstanding officers like Mike. You're seated here today, on the air mobility portion of the ramp. This ramp, the maintainers, the command and control, cyber, supply, and support professionals make up an incredible team to make rapid global mobility a reality every day. Mike, you've absolutely crushed it here. Between the 725 AMS, the detachment at Marone, the operating location at NAS Sigonella, for the most part, you forced these airmen into a cohesive, highly tuned team who've responded quickly and decisively time and time again to support 5 combatant commands. You see, Colonel Slaughter understood that you get the best results by instilling a winning culture, a culture of disciplined operations, one marked by dignity and respect, of empowering airmen and creating time and space for them to innovate and solve problems, with an emphasis on the deliberate development and the enduring bond with our mission partners and allies. Mike, it's clear to me that from the midst of a global pandemic, to the largest non-combatant evacuation airlift in history, to the evolution of agile en route operations, you have kept your team laser focused on our purpose and our mission. You led the way I would have wanted to be led, with integrity, discipline, compassion, and incredible energy. You became the rabid team builder that I asked you to be. Through high tempo ops with no end in sight, to the tremendously constrained airflow brought on by the pandemic, to advancing the en route agile combat employment concept, an idea that would just been sketched out in tiny little exercises, to directly into the operational realm multiple times. You made a lasting impact on everyone and set the course for many to follow. Your steady hand, creative mind, and superb leadership provided your airmen with the conditions they needed to thrive, all while strengthening integration with our Navy and Spanish hosts. Without question, the pandemic created a globally contested environment. Freedom of movement, of lifeblood of rapid global mobility, was constrained everywhere, not so long ago. And for good reason. As nations, combatant commanders, and installation commanders responded to the extremely dynamic conditions, the forces comprising our global mobility posture, your team, was hard at work in finding ways to continue to deploy and sustain the joint force globally. to demonstrate our resolve shoulder to shoulder with our allies, to enable our joint team to maintain the initiative against those who have chosen to be our adversaries. Our joint team depended on us, and you delivered. Mike, at every turn, your team was ready. Back in July of 2021, nearly a lifetime ago it seems, just a few days into your command, and less than a month after the withdrawal from Afghanistan, the security situation there deteriorated. The team knew that a non-combatant evacuation operation, or a NEO, was a real possibility. And during the weekly AFCENT and AMC operational planning team meetings, our planners developed estimates of what that NEO might look like, and how long it might take, and started working up plans to execute should the unthinkable happen. Estimates ran on the order of several months to a year, and we quickly determined that the existing forward footprint would be inadequate to carry it out. Command teams worked tirelessly to refine what would be required to keep that many aircraft operating and to move that many passengers in that amount of time. And then in early August, as the destabilization accelerated, a NEO looked more and more certain. We knew we would need maintenance teams ready to move at a moment's notice to help absorb the huge increase in throughput that would occur at any moment. Surely enough, barely 2 months into Mike's command, we found ourselves almost an order of magnitude short of the capacity required to execute. But his preparation paid off, and his team got a sizable force out the door and downrange almost immediately, enabled the required increase in C-17 mission generation. What the planners estimated would take several months was carried out in just over 2 weeks. In August, the agility demonstrated by your team was nothing short of astounding. Over 800% increase in tails and aircrew and tripled mission generation, all while covering down on the home station missions here and integrating with operations at Sigonella. In 17 days, your team helped save over 60,000 men, women, and children whose desperation was captured on camera and relayed in all global news networks. When Rota and Sigonella became designated intermediate staging bases for evacuees, Mike's team again sprang into action. In an all-hands-on-deck situation, 725 integrated with our Navy partners to support the evacuees here and at Sigonella. Could not have been prouder of your efforts. Later that year, as we observed Russia move closer to war in Ukraine, your team again stood ready to mobilize and maneuver wherever AMC needed us to be. Call never actually came, but I knew that you'd be ready, never a doubt. Then, of all things that could happen, a freak storm struck, producing a tornado that ripped across the installation right across this flight line, not far from where we're seated. 8 aircraft were present that night, and though some were severely damaged, your team sprang to action immediately, recovered all of them, and returned them to service. The repair efforts for one of these aircraft, the first ever C-5 rudder replacement in the field, became a testimony to the outstanding teamwork that exists here on Rota. Mike, our joint team depended on us, and the 725 and Team Rota delivered. You poured yourself and your squadron, and they chose. Bravo Zulu. It's no surprise that when General Minahan went looking for someone to lead his personal commander's action group, you would be at the top of the list, handpicked, hand-selected, and hands-down favorite. I can't wait to see all the great things you're going to do for our Air Force up there, and for our airmen. I have to point out that your successes are not your own, as you know. They have been due a large part to your better half, Brittany. Brittany, you've wrapped your arms around the 725 airmen and made this a warm and welcoming squadron to everyone. I can't thank you enough for your service and sacrifice. You are definitely going to be missed. Grayson, Garrett, thank you for sharing your dad with us for the past 2 years. I know it wasn't easy, but if it's any consolation, everything he did was for a worthy cause. And I know for a fact you are never far from his thoughts. But as we say farewell to one outstanding officer, another stands ready to step up and continue the charge. Brian, welcome to the new team. I look forward to serving with you in your new role. Colonel Shea is a seasoned and decorated officer who knows the air mobility business inside and out, another fellow Hurt guy with multiple deployments under his belt and the last 2 years spent as my group operations officer. He's no stranger to hard work, He arrived on station literally as the NEO was about to kick off. He dove right on into the deep end. Then turned around and took on responsibilities as lead planner for our part in Defender Europe 23, merging the Wings Nodal Lightning exercise into the largest exercise in EUCOM. From joint forcible entry operations out of Zaragoza and Aviano to Bravo Echelon infill in Greece, Brian understands how to orchestrate operations with a global perspective. Brian, I know you're more than ready. You've been hand-selected for this command, and you're absolutely the right leader for this job. And finally, to the airmen of the 725th Air Mobility Squadron, you are an incredible organization, the backbone of rapid global mobility and the best at what you do, hands down. Thank you for what you've done under Lieutenant Colonel Slaughter's command and what you're about to do under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Shea. Before we do that, let's recognize Colonel Slaughter one last time. Please join me up front.
Thank you, Colonel Brumbelow. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the medal presentation. Attention to orders. Citation to accompany the award of the Meritorious Service Medal, 4th Oak Leaf Custer, has been awarded to Lieutenant Colonel Michael A. Slaughter from 14 June 2021 to 17 May 2023. Lieutenant Colonel Michael Slaughter distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Commander, 725th Air Mobility Squadron, 521st Air Mobility Operations Group, 521st Air Mobility Operations Wing, Naval Station Rota, Spain. During this period, Colonel Slaughter led the wing's busiest air mobility squadron, supporting over 3,900 missions, enabling the delivering of over 60,000 personnel and 61 million pounds of cargo, in direct support of operations in the European, Africa, and Central Command's area of operations. Additionally, he guided the squadron's response to Operation Allied Refuge, leading the wing's efforts at 2 of 3 European Command Intermediate Staging Bases, securing safety for 3,200 evacuees in the largest non-combatant evacuation airlift operation in history. Furthermore, Colonel Slaughter led the squadron to secure the only flawless in-person unit inspection result for the wing during the Air Mobility Command Inspector General's Unit Effectiveness Inspection, garnering 9 of 23 airman recognitions and 1 of 3 reported strengths by the Inspector General. Finally, he led the squadron through the wing's most significant transformation since its creation, establishing a new maneuver mission essential task and over 50 new performance elements, culminating in the successful validation of the wing's air mobility team concept during European Command's largest annual exercise. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Lieutenant Colonel Slaughter reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Gentlemen, please be seated. As a thank you for your hard work and dedication to the squadron, on behalf of the 521st Air Mobility Operations Group, we would like to present you with your guidon. It is my pleasure to introduce the Commander, 725th Air Mobility Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Michael A. Slaughter.
All right. If anybody wondered when it feels real, it feels real when you come up to the podium. I think it's certainly dawned on me that this is over, and that's a great thing in some ways. Great for Shea. I know you're going to do great things, but I have a couple things I want to say before we pass it off to you to let you take charge and command this team. So first off, good morning. Thank you to everyone for being here. I certainly appreciate everybody, particularly in the back. A lot of times our airmen end up picking up the short stick, and I sympathize that you guys are standing, and you're standing anyways. You didn't go in, you decided to stay out here for this, and that means a lot to me, and I appreciate it personally. Thank you. So I have a number of thank yous I'd like to start with, but if you'll indulge me, I will break tradition a little bit and run the risk of being emotional up front by thanking my wife before we get started. As many of you know, one of the bright spots in our squadron and for myself over the last 2 years has been Brittany and her dedication to the airmen and families of this squadron. She has, more than anyone I've known, continuously worked to help this team. Brittany, thank you for your loyalty. I'm going to try not to look at you because this will be really hard. And the care for me and the airmen here in Spain. We are sincerely grateful for you and everything you have done for us, to include always cooking brownies that everyone asks for, and I'm sure you will make sure they know how to make those after you leave. I couldn't imagine 3 years at Rota without you, and I am grateful to be moving to our next home at Scott Air Force Base together. We have the memories from Spain that we will be able to spend the rest of our life being grateful for and sharing together with one another. Grayson and Garrett, I've said it before, but I am so thankful to have experienced 3 years here in Spain with both of you. Watching each of you grow and mature has been certainly for me a special part of our time here. You are both resilient and special children. I love you both very much, and I'm excited to start this next chapter of our life together in the United States. Okay. All right. No eye contact's the key there, guys, so if you need to do this over yourself. So with that said, I'd like to return first to thank our Spanish partners. Working alongside the Armada is a unique opportunity for our airmen, and one that we are all continuously better for as we get to work side by side every day. Your team in this country have continuously been generous hosts and allies, and you are truly a key part of our success in this space. This has particularly been the case for our Armada Air Wing partners who have shared the flight line with us every day. Thank you for being a linchpin in the success of our strategic airlift mission, supporting NATO and our allies. We know that we are better together and are grateful to know we have a future together working alongside each of you here in Spain. Thank you. Captain Suarez, I can without a doubt say your Navy team and the broader Navy community here has been central to our team's success. Your team's willingness to consider our airmen, their families' welfare, and the important strategic airlift mission here at Rota has underwritten a strong relationship between our teams. It has been a key reason why our airmen have continued to look for ways to help with the larger Navy mission beyond just the C-17s and C-5s that come in and out of Rota every day. Thank you for your leadership and support. I should highlight also that a key part of our success here is our relationship with our air operations team. No doubt their job is a challenging one, and it's made more challenging by the continuous flow of C-17s and C-5 aircraft through this location and other AMC aircraft. You've always found a way to make things work for us, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Scrunch, certainly you've made the biggest difference for us there in that respect, and I appreciate that you're in the Navy. I'll always ensure we have a space for you in the Air Force if you ever decide to jump ship and climb on board here. Well done, appreciate you. To our Wing Commander, Colonel Cooley, who can't be here, certainly, and to Colonel Brumlow, our Group Commander, thank you for the opportunity to lead this team. Thank you for the chance to step out and be a leader where I had not had the opportunity to do that before and grow under your guidance. I could not imagine 3 years here at Rota without your support. Your confidence in me was something that I could draw on to help me continue to take on the hard and important work we are a part of each day. Thank you. I'm grateful to have worked alongside you, helping to shape some of the most substantial changes in the wing and squadron over the last couple of years. And I'm confident much of that success from those changes belongs to you and your leadership. Thank you. To our team putting on the change of command, thank you. I appreciate shirt more than anybody. You're just having to stoically stand there, so I'm going to recognize you up front. It's not thankless, and I appreciate it. You're second time you've done that for me, so thank you. To the rest of the volunteers, thanks. These are always fun events to put on. They take a lot of planning, and you guys certainly make it go off without a hitch, as we've seen so far, so thank you for that. Appreciate you going out of your way to make it special. Okay, a couple last thanks. I started this fantastic journey naive in some ways, not being a commander previously, and I was, as any good commander is, surrounded by two individuals on my command team that relentlessly and selflessly helped me become a better officer and a better leader. So certainly, Shirt, stoically standing there, I appreciate it. She has a different personality. She's actually quite enthusiastic. So, but we appreciate you being there. Chief, I don't know how I could have done this without you. I came in knowing that there was 3 people on this command team, and I was at best probably the third most competent person on it. And I'm certain I say that because you were the first most competent person on it. No one doubted your ability to understand how to make this organization work and how to operate at this location. You had already excelled at that before I showed up as a senior master sergeant and certainly as a chief master sergeant. And not to mention coming after Chief Bonavita, who certainly paved the way for all of us. So I just want to tell you, I couldn't have done it without you. Grateful that you're still here. I'm grateful to know that I'll leave Rhoda and you'll still be at Rhoda taking care of these airmen, making sure this mission continues to go as well as it has. And then the last is Senior Savakis. You filled an impossible to shoot a fill, and you never skipped a beat. I've never met anybody that can fill Chief Marty's role, but you did it. And I can't tell you how much that says about you. I wish everybody could really know what that means, but well done. It's been a much less difficult 6 months for me because you were there relentlessly keeping me on track, regardless of any hiccups. You were always there. So I look forward to great things from you. I know you're going to do good things in the Air Force. Okay, so with that, to the men and women and the families of the 725th Air Mobility Squadron, I'll say first off that you are the real stars of today. I have rarely seen a squadron so regularly tested and so continuously successful as yours. I can assure you that you are the authors of that success. I have been lucky to be alongside you as you make the difficult look easy every day. I would encourage each of you to not lose sight of how exceptional the work you do here is and how uncommonly good at it you are. Air Mobility Command in many cases has been referred to as a light switch. You don't think about whether a light switch will come on. You switch it on and the light is there. I have no doubt our command has garnered that level of reliability because teams like yours. The squadron has continually been the most reliable en route location in the Air Force. Just this last March, you launched more aircraft than any air mobility squadron and still maintained a reliability rate higher than every other squadron. That does not happen by mistake. It happens from airmen taking their craft seriously, from NCOs leading and teaching those around them, and senior NCOs helping shape and grow our organization. This is just one example of excellence, but there are plenty, from OAR 2 years ago, as we heard, to our Tornado in December and our favorite C5, which I'm certain will come back. And I encourage you to continue to put Spirit of Rhoda on it discreetly in memory of the efforts you guys put in to make that aircraft part of our strategic airlift assets in the Air Force still. That aircraft, as was mentioned, was certainly spectacular because you were the first en route to repair a lower rudder since the C5 has existed, which is longer than many of us have been alive. So with all of these things, because you live them, you know these, you know how exceptional they are and how important your role to their success has been. So well done. Thank you to each of you for supporting me and my family, the command team, over the last 2 years. It has been an honor to be part of this team. As I have always said, our command team worked to help make this squadron yours over the last 2 years, and I hope that each of you can look around and see some of yourself in what you have helped build. I have no doubt that each of you will continue to build this team into the organization that we all want it to be, and I know that as I hand off the command of this squadron to Lieutenant Colonel Shea, you will each continue to make this organization one we are all proud of alongside him, as you did with me. Lieutenant Colonel Shea, Tiffany, there you are, there you are. I know both of you are the right people for this job. And I know that you will both continue to lead and support this exceptional team. I could not be more happy to hand the unit over to you both, and I'm excited for you and what you will be a part of over the next 2 years, helping shape this organization. Best of wishes to you both. I know that Brittany and I will always be there for you along the way if there is anything we can do for you. And with that, I will say goodbye. I will always have a sense of pride having the opportunity to have served alongside each of you. And I will always be a phone call away, an email away, wherever I'm needed from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Slaughter. At this time, Colonel Slaughter would like to present flowers to his wife, Brittany, his daughter, Grayson, and a gift to his son, Garrett. for the change of command.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. Headquarters, Air Mobility Command, under the provisions of Air Force Instruction 51604 and in accordance with the Special Order Number G2322, dated 17 May 2023. Lieutenant Colonel Brian P. Shea is hereby appointed Commander of the 725th Air Mobility Squadron, effective 17 May 2023, signed Colonel Dawson A. Brumlow, United States Air Force, Commander 521st Air Mobility Operations Group. The new commander of the 725th Air Mobility Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Brian P. Shea.
Good morning to all. Thank you for attending this morning. I am truly humbled by the senior leaders, distinguished guests, family, friends, and squadron members that have come out today. As Tiffany, Eli, Mia, and I join the 725. In keeping with Mike's theme, I gotta thank Tiffany up first. Tiffany, thank you for your support, and love and sacrifice. I'm constantly amazed at the fortitude and grace in which you handle the turmoil that comes with this adventure. There is no one else's support I'd rather have going into this assignment. Eli, Mia, you bring me so much joy. Thank you for being so strong and rolling with all the changes that have come with having a parent in the Air Force. I love you guys. Colonel Brumlow, Lieutenant Colonel Fleming, who has to take all the meetings for me today, back in the group since I bailed on him, Chief Marty, Mr. Bonavita, and the Southern Group team, thank you for the past 2 years and taking the time to help get me ready for this next challenge. Thank you to Colonel Cooley for giving me the opportunity to serve in this role. I look forward to getting after our AMAL mission with the team at the 725. Captain Suarez, Captain Prieto, Commander Martin, and all of our Spanish and U.S. Navy partners, thank you for all the support you provide us here at Naval Station Rota, and I look forward to tackling the tough challenges we face as a team. My parents, John and Diane, you provided me a loving home and a foundation for 18 years before releasing me into the wilds of Laramie, Wyoming to fend for myself. Though the Air Force has kept me far from home, I've always known that your love, guidance, and support were waiting when I needed it. Thank you for everything. We're at the end game of this ceremony now, I promise. I would be remiss if I didn't thank Sergeant Krabler and the rest of the team for their work coordinating this ceremony and making sure everything ran smoothly. Even with all the changes we threw at you at the last minute, I appreciate it. Finally, to the men and women of the 725, thank you. I know walking in that I am not the expert in how this squadron does business, but I also know that I am lucky because I have a squadron full of experts. So all I must do is foster an environment of respect, dignity, and the opportunity where your voices can be heard. I look forward to leading and learning with you as we continue the hard work of the en route airlift support. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Shea. The men and women of the 725th Air Mobility Squadron would like to present flowers to Ms. Shea and their daughter Mia and a gift to their son Eli. We welcome them as the newest members of the 725th Air Mobility Squadron family. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of the Air Force song and the departure of the official party. This concludes today's ceremony. Please join us for a reception at Sheet Metal in Building 3231 as we welcome our new commander, Lieutenant Colonel Shea, and his family. Thank you for attending, and we wish you a pleasant day.